Joyce Pring is passionate about purposeful living and helping people maximize their individual potential for the greater good of mankind. These days, the multimedia star uses her platform to tell stories that inspire meaningful change and be a role model for young girls aspiring to be independent-minded and confident about themselves. All her life, she's been called a Jill of all trades, never the type to settle into a single passionate pursuit, and always looking for adventures in terms of career and creative endeavors. As a social media sensation and an in-demand ambassadress, Joyce has done several campaigns for several brands that align with her principles and visions in life. It's our pleasure to introduce one of our guest speakers for today's special event, Miss Joyce Pring.
Hello and good morning, Cloudstaffers! How are you guys doing today? I'm so excited to be with all of you here this morning, to be one of your speakers, actually your final speaker for your team building. And hopefully you guys are excited. You know, I've been watching the live earlier pa lang, and I've learned so much from both Francis Kong and of course Coach Pat, who was our speaker before me. So hopefully you guys are ready for the third and final installation. Meron akong presentation talaga, pero parang nung nakita ko yung mga presentations nila, parang okay na pala yun, pwede namang icon core na lang. But I'm joking. I have a presentation ready specially for you guys, and it's actually a bit more, how do I say this? It's interactive. So if you can, you know, make sure that you're in the chat box so I can get in touch with you, I could see your replies. And syempre, kung meron kayong mga writing materials like your notebook and your pens with you, please do get them ready, as we'll be having a bit of, I guess, a couple of activities throughout my presentation. Thank you to everyone who's saying hello already in the chat box, like Sharon, Chicky, Queenie also tuned in, Sandy, Gina, thank you very much. I am going to have you guys present my presentation already. Can we have a presentation, please? All right, so my talk for today is entitled Purposeful Productivity, which is really a webinar that I created when this whole thing started, when the pandemic hit us, and I felt like I was just stuck at home. So I needed to think about how was I able to adjust to this new normal and stay purposefully productive, even though it's been really, really difficult. Next slide, please. So before we start the program, I'm going to introduce myself first. Hi, my name is Joyce Pring. I am a keynote speaker, a TV presenter, a philanthropist, and I am one of your speakers here for today. I am broadcasting live here in Makati City. So my first question for you is, what is your name and where are you watching from? I need to know your name and where you're watching from. Paano naman I could say hello to you? I'll wait in the comment section. There we go. Hello to Joanne, to Neth, Adrian, Brunola, Lucky Joy also tuned in. Hello to Kyra. Hi to Hartley, John Garcia. Hello to John. Hello to Lee. Sabi ni John, pamay na lang Joyce Pring. Wow. Mary, annyeong haseyo. Kamusta? Hello to Brian. Hello to AC as well. Harold from Angeles City. O, diba? Josh from Mabalacat City. So many people. Jennifer also. Edeline from Pampanga. Eileen watching all the way from Japan. Hi. There we go. So many people tuned in right now. Don't forget to send in your answers in the comment section. I want to keep seeing your comments. And, you know, if you have any questions for me, please do send them in the comment section, as I'll be trying to answer them later on in my presentation. Maraming salamat po. Oh, there we go. Stacy and Eliza. Cassidy from Brisbane, Cyrus watching from Angeles City. Many from us watching from Pampanga. Joyce watching from Clark Airport. Hello, hello. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, Cloudstaffers. I'm so excited to be with you all. I know some people were commenting na sana in person daw to, but hopefully in the future we get to do that. But now I'm really grateful that we get to do this in the safety of our home. So now that we've kind of gotten to know each other already, we know where everyone's watching from, let's move on to the next slide. So I wanted to start my presentation today with a quote from Terry Orlick, who says, "The heart of human excellence often begins to beat when you discover a pursuit that absorbs you, that frees you, challenges you, or gives you a sense of meaning, joy, or passion." And today I wanted to talk about how do we find this purposeful productivity during this difficult time. I believe that we cannot be productive if we don't know what our purpose is or what our why is. I believe that we cannot be productive if we don't do our daily habits and persevere towards them. And I also believe that we cannot be purposefully productive if we do not see or have the perspective of the bigger picture. Next slide, please. So for today, dahil 30 minutes lang ang meron akong time for my presentation, I only have 3 very short points. So the first one is to find your purpose, meaning how do we find our purpose and really realize what our why is to be able to understand why we're doing the work that we're doing and why do we keep doing it even though it's difficult and it could be during a season of life that's really, really tough. Second, persevere in your daily habits or understand that everything that we do in our life, it's not one big decision at a time. It's a couple of or a lot of small decisions compounded over time. And third and lastly, gain a different perspective or understanding what the bigger picture is in our lives. All right, next slide, please. So our first point is purpose or finding your why. Next, please. My next chat box question for you guys is, para saan ka bumabangon? When you woke up early this morning and you decided to watch and be part of the team building, to be part of CS Virtuify 2020, para saan ka bumangon? Why did you wake up this morning? Or why do you wake up every morning and do the thing that you do? I'm gonna wait for your answers in the chat box. Go! Ayan, we'll wait. I want to know. Sabi ni Charlene, I'm watching while bathing my toddler. O, diba? Nika says, para sa anak kong pogi. Cyril says, for my family. Camille says, for my family. O, ang dami sa atin for our families. Syempre, Filipinos, we're very family-oriented, It's very important for us to take care of and make sure that our families are well and healthy. Hazel says, I wake up to be a great person every single day. Wow, si Erwin naman, what a romantic for his partner naman daw. Ram says, for my family and of course for Cloudstaff. AC Martin says, I wake up in the morning to live my life and for my dream to conquer them. I love it. Thank you for sharing with me your reasons for waking up in the morning. That's so important. Roland says, para sa kinabukasan. It's so important to know why we wake up every morning because our purpose is the reason that drives us to do the things that we do. If we don't know what our purpose is, then we're just randomly flailing through life, not really knowing what our motivation is and what our reason is for living. Tandaan po natin, we're all alive. We all have our lives to live. We all have time. We all have talents. We all have treasures. But if we don't know why we have those things and what we want to use them for, then we'll be living lives that are really directionless. Okay, next slide, please. Fyodor Dostoevsky says, the mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for. Remember that. Not just in staying alive, not just in surviving, but in finding something to live for. Next slide, please. So for finding our purpose, I wanted to talk about the concept of the clock and the compass. They say that every life is driven either by the clock or by the compass. And I think we have to connect both the clock and the compass. Coach Pat was saying earlier that, we're temporal, finite beings. And that's so true. We need to be mindful of the clock. Why do we need to be mindful of the clock? Because the clock is always ticking. We must learn to invest it and not just spend it, right? Because, for example, we all have 24 hours within a day. Depende na lang sa'yo. It depends on you. If you want to use those 24 hours to stay productive, productive, to do something that's actually worthwhile, or you could use those 24 hours to do absolutely nothing and rest, right? It really depends on you. You have to learn that to invest it. Third and finally, about the clock, it is a perishable good. What does that mean? It's not there forever. It actually diminishes as time goes by, or as the phrase goes by, right? So that's the clock. The compass naman is our why, or this is our direction. Which direction do you want to go, right? Aligning your time with your direction. Your compass also drives us when willpower isn't enough. So for us to be able to find out what our purpose is, we must be able to figure out how to marry our clock with our compass. We must be mindful of, okay, this is the amount of time that I need to do all of these things, but you also have to write down what are the things that you want to achieve in this amount of time that you currently have. Next slide, please. So I want to remind you that direction is more important than speed. Although speed is very important, direction is more important. This is a story that I've told so many times in some of my webinars. And I said na before, whenever I felt like I needed a break or I needed to escape, I would always go and drive out of town to just go to the beach by myself. And I did this maybe like for 3 years in a row. And one time, I was going to Batangas because I had such a toxic work week. Sabi ko, I'm gonna drive to Batangas, and I just went so fast. I grabbed my things, packed my bags, I went to the car, I drove as fast as I could, and I wanted to go to Batangas, to Anilao, Batangas, to go for a scuba diving trip. And 30 minutes or 1 hour in, I was already in the highway, and I was like, wow, ang bilis ko nakarating dito sa highway, buti na lang, ganyan. And then I saw, like, bakit mali yung mga exit? Bakit Bulacan yung exit dito? Bakit parang mali yung pinuntahan ko? And little did I know that I was trying to get to my destination so quickly. I didn't think about my destination. I kept thinking about going fast. So I was in NLEX instead of SLEX. So you have to think of it that way. Sometimes it's not just about how quick or how fast you can go to the place that you want to, but it's always keeping in mind the destination or the goal that you have in mind. Next slide, please. Knowing your why means differing it from your what and your how. It means your purpose is the driving force that pulls you forward, and the work that you do and the things that you do are your what and your how. So knowing your why is something usually bigger than yourself. It's something that's your family, it's probably your faith, it's your goals. Your why is always something bigger than yourself. Next slide, please. So I wanted to talk to you guys about mission vision statements. I feel like a lot of companies, obviously almost all companies that I know have mission vision statements. But did you know that as individuals, it's also important that we have our own mission vision statement? So how do we do this? We'll break it down into two. First part is your mission statement, right? This is your drive. What do you want to do? So the questions that you can ask yourself is, for example, what do I do? Whom do I serve? How do I serve them? So, for example, for me, if I were to answer this question, my mission statement is, what do I do? I am a TV presenter, I am a keynote speaker, and I'm a philanthropist. Whom do I serve? I serve the people who hire me to be a speaker, to be a host, like you guys. Cloudstaffers, you are the people that I'm serving at this very moment. How do I serve you? I serve you by being the best version of myself, by constantly learning new things so that I can impart them with you. I serve you by being ready to do my presentation for today, and so on and so forth. So that is my mission statement. What I do, who I serve, and how I serve you. Second part, your vision statement or your direction. Now, your mission statement is something that's really, it's the right now, what you're doing right now and who you are right now. And I feel like your vision statement requires a lot of imagination, because you have to visualize for yourself your larger or all-encompassing purpose for your life. So questions that you may ask yourself are, what are my hopes and my dreams? What am I looking, or what am I doing for the greater good for those around me? Or who or what am I inspiring to change for the better? So think about your vision. What is the direction of your life? Where do you want to go in the long run? Itong vision natin, ito yung mas malayo or mas malawak na vision natin for our life, or mas malawak na purpose natin para sa buhay natin. So think about your mission and vision statements. Next slide, please. So sample mission statements, I just wanted to run through some of them para meron kayong slight idea. Tesla, to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Another mission statement from a random individual says, to help as many people as possible, as much as possible, for as long as possible. Dennis Morrison says, to serve as a leader, live a balanced life, and apply ethical principles to make a significant difference. For me, a mission statement ko is to become the best host and podcaster in the Philippines and help millennials and young adults to find purpose in their work and maximize their individual potential for the greater good. Those are sample mission statements that I feel like could inspire you as well and could kind of help you think about your own mission statement. Next slide, please. Vision statements naman. Ang vision statement ng IKEA, even though they're a furniture company, they said, our vision is to create a better everyday life for many people. So see, their vision is not really the work that they're doing, but the overall or overarching idea that they want to be able to achieve in the future, which is to create a better everyday life for many people. Oprah Winfrey, who is a host and a philanthropist as well, who says, to be a teacher and to be known for inspiring my students to be more than they thought they could be. Richard Branson, who is a business owner, says to have fun in my journey through life and learn from my mistakes. So you see how the vision statements aren't actually specifically the work that they're doing, but something that's bigger than the work or the mission that they have. For me, my JPT, my vision statement naman is my chief end is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever, to point people back to Christ by doing my work excellently and maximizing my time, my talents, and my treasure. So your mission, vision statements are something that you should be thinking about if you want to know what your purpose is in life. Next slide, please. So, super quick, I have a 1-minute activity for you guys to do. I want you to write a simple, workable, personal why or your mission, vision statement. So if you guys want to share it with us in the comment section, you can share it with us. You could just write, what is your mission statement, right? You want eventually teach a lot of people in the future. You want to use the talent that you have to bless other people. You want to help your family, or you want to put your cousins or your siblings through school. Whatever your mission or vision statement is, please do share it with us if you would like to in the comment section. AC Martin has shared her own vision statement. To glorify God. Above all, God is the most important. Wow. See, I love that. Thank you, Nika, who says, I love how prepared you are, my God. I think your talk is one of my highlights for today. Thank you, Nika. So if you want to share your mission, vision statement, please do share it with us in the comment section. Don't be shy. It's totally fine. Kahit gaano kasimple pa yan, your mission statement right now is to be the best team player in your workplace. You know, whatever it is, please do share it with us. But I think I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to move on to the next slide. I want to read this one from Nathan Gray, though, who says, I want to be able to inspire people through continuous learning and share my knowledge unselfishly. I love that. Hazel says, I want to spread awareness about mental health and tell people that everyone has their own battles in life that we need to respect. I love that. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide as you guys are still sharing your mission, vision statements in the comment section. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. Next, please. There we go. I love it. Thank you for sharing your mission statements. My mission is to inspire young working moms like me to become a good provider and to raise their children properly without sacrificing their career. Sabi ni Elaine. I love that. So now that we know what our mission is, what our purpose is, our mission vision, we move on now to perseverance or building our daily habits. Next slide, please. Next chat box question. Do you sometimes feel like you're so exhausted from busyness, but you aren't necessarily productive? So we've thought about our mission vision statements, and thank you very much for everyone who shared it in the chat box. But now I want to ask you: have you ever worked so hard, tas parang feeling mo pagod na pagod ka, pero hindi ka naging productive? I'm sure you felt that way because sometimes I feel that way as well. Next slide, please. So the thing is, some people would keep talking about productivity without thinking about the purpose. So puro trabaho lang yung ginagawa natin without really knowing why we're doing the work. And I feel like when you think about purposeful productivity, you have to think about daily habit forming, and that includes your mental and your physical health kind of married with productivity. Next slide, please. So, daily habit forming. Let's talk about mental and physical health. First off, sharpen the saw. What does this mean? Sharpening the saw is, let's say you have to, chop a block of wood. If you have a block of wood, tapos ang gagamitin mo to chop that block of wood is a butter knife, then it may take you years and you won't even make a dent on that block of wood. So what do? We use the right tools. We sharpen the saw and we use a knife we use a saw instead of a knife, right? So what I mean by sharpening the saw is actually a concept that I got from a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And he says you sharpen the saw, you actually improve your individual, you improve as an individual, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, everything. You improve yourself to be able to do your work well. So for you to be able to do that, you have to work out, to journal. If you're into that, you write down everything that's going on so you can process everything. Eat mindfully. It's not even about dieting. It's about being mindful of the things that we consume and that we do with our body. Second, to rest deliberately. A lot of people think that work is just about work, that you have to constantly be in a motion. You have to constantly be working, to be doing things. But in reality, the secret to success is knowing when to take breaks and when to rest deliberately. Work with your ultradian rhythm, which you guys could really research about. Your ultradian rhythm basically is the peaks and troughs of your body. So apparently we have what we call biosystems and our chronobiology rather, which actually tells us the peaks and the troughs of the productivity of our body. So kung kailan natin kaya maging super active, and then kung kailan kailangan ng body natin maging super at rest. Third and finally, create human connection. Find an accountability partner. Connect with your community. Cloudstaff is such a great environment to be in. So connect with your fellow Cloud staffers. Make sure that you're creating that human connection and replicating it now that we don't get to see each other face to face. Pwede kayo mag-voice note, do video calls, and make sure that you are actually connecting with each other. All right, second part naman, productivity. It's about time management, right? You can create a daily workable schedule for your work from home. So make sure that you're actually managing your time and knowing each day, okay, this is the amount of time that I have to do for today to be productive for today. And this is the amount of time that I'm going to be restful. So time management. Second, not just time management, you have to think about task management. You have to think about, okay, how do I think about the tasks that I need to achieve, and how do I manage all of it to be able to achieve and finish all these things? And think about the productivity tools that you could use. So for me, I use apps like Bear Focus Timer, Tick, which is an app that you could use to just tick off all the activities that you need to do, and AnyDo as well, Good Notes as well. And think about doing social media detox. If you are doing too many things at once, I'm sure you might feel exhausted. So think about doing social media detox to actually take a break from everything to make sure that your brain is in a productive state of mind. Next slide, please. So this is a sample of the Eisenhower matrix that I talked about. So four panels, important and urgent, important but not urgent, not important and not urgent, and not urgent and not important. So if it's important and urgent, you have to do it now. If it's important but not urgent, decide or schedule a time when you're going to do it. Not important but urgent, delegate, or who can do it for you. If you have teammates or if you have people in the house who need to do it for you, you could delegate the task. And third and finally, if it's not important and if it's not urgent, which basically means if you're just watching something and mindlessly doing something, you might want to delete it or eliminate it. Next slide, please. So I don't know if we still have time to do this, but I'm gonna just put it out there. Write a reactive, proactive, and personal work from home schedule, which means just think about the schedule that you want to do for yourself. So halimbawa sabihin natin, every day I'm gonna wake up at 7 a.m. At 7:30, I'm gonna work out. At 8 a.m., I'm gonna have my breakfast. At 8 to 9 a.m., I'm gonna start checking my emails. Write a reactive and proactive personal work from home schedule para lang magkaroon ka ng really like a structure around your day. Because if we don't have these daily habits and these structures within our day, it's going to be really difficult for us to do the tasks that we need to. So write it down, if you have an idea of what you want to be able to achieve within the day or your schedule that you want to do, go on ahead and start your very own work from home schedule. All right, next slide, please. My quote for this part of the presentation is from Lao Tzu, which says, "Watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny." And that's why it's so important to think about our daily habits and our daily schedule, because all these compounded things that we get from the daily things that we do, akala natin, we think it's just small decisions that we're making. But in reality, these are huge decisions compounded in the long run. So think about how you manage your mental and your physical health, and think about how you manage your time and how you manage your tasks. And to be able to do that, you'll be needing to create really a good daily persevering habit and schedule. So think about those things. All right, next slide, please. Schedule your priorities. Don't just prioritize your schedule. So important. Think about that for a second. It's not just about, knowing your schedule or knowing your timeline, but it's actually thinking about how you deal with your priorities in that particular schedule and timeline that you have. So schedule your priorities. Don't just prioritize your schedule. All right, next slide, please. So third and finally, as I run out of time, 5 minutes to finish my presentation here this morning rather. Thank you, Cloud staffers, for having me. My third and final point is perspective. So the first one, we had purpose, right? Or finding your why. The second one is perseverance, or building your daily habits. And the third one is perspective, or looking at the bigger picture. Next slide, please. So a change in perspective. Remember that the small changes we make in order to stay productive and on track today pave the way to our future successes. Our lives have the power to impact others. Okay, so what does this mean? The reason why my last point for today is perspective is because I wanted you to realize that everything that you do, no matter how big or how small, it has the power to eventually impact your life in a tremendous way and impact the lives of others around you. So sabihin natin, something as simple as a 20-minute workout for today. Yung 20-minute workout na yan, it might not do a lot of change for like maybe a week or 2 weeks. You probably won't see a lot of changes, but compound that 20-minute workout into 6 months or 1 year, and you will see such an incredible change in your life. And every decision that you make, all those small changes that you make, your small decision to be kinder today, your small decision to be more mindful today, your small decision to be more productive today, no matter how small that decision is, it will affect your life in a huge way. And here's another thing. Sometimes we feel like, I'm just one person. I don't really matter. But did you know that your life matters so much because it has the power to impact the lives of others as well? Every life that we see in this world is of intrinsic value. There is intrinsic value in your life. So always think about that. Next slide, please. Tony Robbins, one of my favorite speakers, says most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 2 or 3 decades. Again, the theory of compounding, of a compounding mindset, of understanding that you might feel like this is something small right now. I'm just giving my report or my presentation on time. It's just a small thing. But did you know that giving that report on time has a ripple effect throughout your whole company? So think about that. Don't ever underestimate what you're able to achieve in the next 2 or 3 decades or in the next year even. Next slide, please. So this is actually a photo from Vinyasa. I think this is Vinyasa in India, where they create the most beautiful saris. And this is kind of where my talk is dwindling down, and it's coming to a close. And you see that in this photo, you see just a lot of threads, right? It's just the weaver and a lot of threads. You don't really see a pattern in that. Next slide, please. But that fabric and those threads actually turn into, next slide, please, a beautiful sari, beautiful fabric with incredible patterns on them. So what I'm trying to say here is sometimes we don't really see that all these things that are happening around us, no matter how bad or no matter how good they may be, they actually compound and create beautiful patterns in our lives that we don't really see until it eventually happens. So think about that. Think about how important it is to make sure that you see the bigger perspective or the bigger picture, that it's not just about what you're currently doing right now, but what that thing you're doing eventually will amount to in the future. Next slide, please. We are all integral threads to the fabric of life. And you, everyone watching right now, you are an integral thread to Cloudstaff. You are an integral thread to your family, to your community, to the company that you're working for. You are important and you are so, so valued. So never think of yourself as just one person, but think of yourself as one person that's part of an overarching, of a bigger picture, of a bigger purpose in this life. You are valued and you have the power to impact the lives of others. So always think of it that way. Next slide, please. So for my third yes and final activity for today, I wanted to ask you to write one small change that you want to start today, or one person whose life you want to impact with one small act of kindness. It could be that one small change is, I'm gonna eat more vegetables, or I'm gonna take a walk outside every day from now on, or I'm gonna take a break from social media. Whatever that one small change is, please do share it with us, because that one small change, that one small positive change has the impact to change the lives of many others around you. So that's my third and final activity for today. Let me see if you guys could share it with us in the comment section. What's my next slide, please? So there's my final slide. Just a recap of everything that we learned today. Find your purpose, persevere in your daily habits, and gain a different perspective. Mariam says her one small change is to exercise more. Levi says, I'm going to water my plants every day. Bruce says, I'm going to try to be more positive. I love that. Queena says, I want to exercise to gain self-discipline. I love that. Mark says, social media detox. Sabagay Life. Thank you for watching Sabagay Life. Jay says, I will do my best to minimize playing online and spend more time with God. Ang ganda naman. Drink lots of water, Rizal says. Dana says, exercise and eat healthy. Jamie says, social media detox, it helps a lot. You connect more with people. That's true. Joanne has a great idea. Start saying, I love you to all my loved ones. That's wonderful. Kat Leia says, more quiet time with him. Oh, diba? Daniel says, I will leave my phone at my closet for a day and spend more time with family. Thank you very much for sharing all those amazing answers, you guys. I think that's it for my time here this morning. I wish I had more time with you guys, but hopefully you enjoyed this talk and I pray that you were blessed by it. I again would like to remind you to find your purpose or learn your mission, vision in your life. Second, to persevere in your daily habits or know and be mindful of the small things that we do every single day. And third and finally, gain a perspective, a bigger perspective, and understand that we are all an integral thread in the fabric of life. Once again, my name is Joyce Pring. Thank you once again to Cloud Staffers. God bless you guys. I still have a couple of questions that I think I'll be answering. So, ayun, thank you.